All right, so look, I decided after battling with myself for a few days and realizing something in my character, right? And growing, I'm still young, so I'm learning a lot. And, when I look back on my older videos, I'm like, I've grown a lot. My speaking's gotten a lot better, all of that, which I've expressed in a recent upload anyway. And the one of the recent uploads I'm in two minds about because I'm like, in one hand, I'm like, I want to delete this video I uploaded that didn't fully finish. But at the same time, that's truly kind of how I felt in the moment. But I don't know. I think it's quite destructive, more than it is productive to leave that video on there. So I'm probably gonna have to delete that. I think so. Um, I don't think it's worthy of being up on my channel anymore. As much as I may have enjoyed filming it in the moment, I think there's just a reason why that video like collapsed before I got to reach some type of conclusion. Probably a sign from the universe or whatever to say like this one isn't it. All the other videos, okay, I see. This one, something's wrong with it. And I gotta accept the fact that it happened to that specific video for a reason. So I'm gonna need to look at that, review it, and be like, you know what? Well, maybe it just needs to be removed altogether. But in this new video, the title is "Her direct and blind accuracy is bewildering to me." Sorry for my voice break. Her direct and blind accuracy is bewildering to me. Okay, that's the fucking title. So there's just so many synchronicities I've noticed within the relationship I'm in, right? Between me and this girl. And we're so similar. And there's a passage out of the Bible where I think it says something like, it's known to be in the Bible, or maybe just a saying of God, that he wanted us humans to know, right? Or the creator of this universe wanted us humans to know. A specific message that stood out to me. And so there goes a saying in Christianity that says I think Eve was made out of Adam's rib, right? Which is so symbolic because when you're in a relationship with a girl, man and woman, right? Like, I think this applies to heterosexual relationships. I don't want to be disrespectful to the homos and stuff. Like, y'all can do what y'all do. That's fine. I'm not really into it, but everyone has a choice the way they want to live, But biologically, I don't feel that way. I feel biologically attached to women, and I can't like turn it off or anything. I can't mute it. Nothing will stop me, unless I take some, obviously if I take some mind altering substances, maybe at that point I can be duped into. But as long as I keep myself natural and like sober and all of that, it's like, I know what I'm here for. But if you want to play Adam and Steve, like, y'all can do that, but I'm playing the game of Adam and Eve, and it comes natural to me. And when I really look at that message, and it's like, woman comes from man, originally. Like, it's not, I mean, man can come from woman as well, but like, man has the life force energy. The woman fertilizes it. And we know how this photosynthesis process goes on to create human life. I don't have to explain all of that, but it just stands out to me so much. And it's like, so it's like, if my Eve, is pretty much just a smaller part of me, it's like everything I'm doing as a man, it's like I had to take a step back and be like, there was some things that my girl was doing that was like kind of provocative, and I didn't like it, and I was starting to hate her for like, certain provocative behaviors. And it wasn't provocative to the point where it disrespects the relationship, because it wasn't to that point where I'm like, oh, I'm disgusted by you and I can't anymore. It was just like, it was just like reposts, things like that, reposting stuff on Instagram. Then I'm like reposting other guys on Instagram. You know how Instagram added that repost feature in July or August of last year, 2025? About 6 months ago, they added that. And it's like that repost feature like comes from like Twitter and stuff. That I've always have that. But then Instagram added that feature as of recently. And so girls get to like, you get to really see the mind of a girl like more clearly now, because it's like they expose themselves, and you don't have to search through their phone to see what they're liking or anything, or who they're DMing. You can see that out in the open, right? And it's so funny because sometimes I flip flop between blue pill, red pill, and black pill so much, and all of these groups, all of these pills, they have truth to them. And that's why I flip flop, right? I got a multifaceted persona. I don't think it's fake, and maybe I need to make another video on that, but I think it's a part of growth to be able to see like the light and dark in everything. It makes you a more well-rounded person, and you're like, okay, so I know that if I do this or don't do this, it has this type of effect. People underestimate their own influence in the world, and I did this for the longest time. Now I realize, and I'm more sure of myself and more centered, within my own nature. I see like how that reflects itself into the world and influences other people, and to them it's not influential, because to them it's just they're acting out in their own lives, so they can't see it. They can't see the direct influence that other people are having on them, but it's there. It's like if I'm watching Fresh and Fit podcasts, watching them talk shit about women all day and having a laugh out of it and putting it out on the internet for everyone else to watch, and I'm watching that, and it's like the main thing I'm watching all day and just flicking through the episodes. As soon as I'm finished with the episode, I go to the next episode, and then I complete the whole series. It's like eventually I'm gonna adopt these ideologies, and I was like, hold on, wait the fuck. Like, really? Is that really what you think all the way deep down? And it's like, no, I only partially think this, right? So I think once in a while, watching a Fresh and Fit podcast is not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt anybody. It's going to add some perspective, if anything. But if that's all you consume, then it is detrimental, because it is more life, people, things are more nuanced than that. They're more broadened, right? They have so many different sides. There's so many different sides to things and people in life that you cannot just, as soon as you try to box someone into something, they start to prove and show to you that that's that you can't box them in by being something completely different from what you thought they were capable of showing or being, right? Then you realize, oh, okay, I was wrong. And you can't be 100% right about like damn near anything, and this, like, of course facts exist, but even with facts, it's like, even with facts, it's like we still got opinions, we still feel, emotions and all this other stuff. All this other stuff comes into play. So it's just like, not looking at life so black and white anymore, and knowing that there's really an omnipresent gray area in all of this stuff. And it causes, and a lot of things have a dichotomy to them, like a dual-sided nature to it, and you've got to be able to view both perspectives, not only view it but accept it as well. And then when you view and you're able to acknowledge it, and then you're able to have acceptance, you can be like, okay, I know that I'm gonna go through periods where I enjoy this and I don't, but nothing's perfect. But as we all I can do is become better, and this will become better for me. This thing, this business, this person, and it's getting down to the skills of how do I have that happen, right? Okay, so for me, I'm gonna carry myself like, I'm loyal. I'm not thinking about other girls. I'm not messaging other girls. I'm not doing all of this stuff, because I have to admit and be like, you know what? Some of that stuff I kind of was doing, like in the same time of like, trying to portray that I'm loyal, but at the same time I was still acting like a sleaze on the side, like, and I wasn't going I definitely wasn't taking things all the way, because I knew not to cross that line. You see what I'm saying? But there were still certain lines before that line that I was crossing. So it's like, what am I really doing? If I'm like half doing something, what's the point? I might as well do it all the way or not do it, right? Don't, and that's not easy, like picking a side, but I had to pick a side And even understand when I pick a side, it's not always going to go away for, it's not always going to go my way just because I'm picking, just because I'm advocating for this thing or this person. Like, I'm advocating for this business doesn't mean that this business is going to serve me for as long as I serve it, if that makes sense. It's like, I could serve this business or this person for, a year and everything be great. And then after a year, the business or the person start to change. After that, it's my duty to understand that, okay, it was never guaranteed to always be fixed. Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe I have to let go of this business now and go into another business that's going to be better for me in the longer run, or another person. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm figuring out, and how to be more comfortable with, investing my all into something when I have it, when I have the interest to do so, and seeing that it's reciprocating all of the interest I'm putting into it up until the point where it doesn't anymore, or knowing that perhaps at some point it won't anymore. It may continue to be that way, perhaps for the rest of my life, and that would be great because I wouldn't have to change or anything like that, and I could stay within that lane. But sometimes you have to switch it, right? Because things can change, so it's like, but I'm going to stay the same for as long as I've become comfortable with staying the same for as long as it's required to stay the same for. And as soon as I start to see a change, and a change that isn't going to, is only accelerating, and is not going to have any reverting back to the original, then at that point I'm like, okay, now I have to change because this changed, right? And yeah, it's very weird, very psychologically dense, information that I'm presenting here and trying to break down for you. And a lot of people are going to get lost in this concept, but I realize, like, wow, like, there are things I'm doing in the dark that my girl is just bringing to the forefront. It's like, if I'm still watching porn, or if well, I want to say corn, but I've already said the word now. Anyway, I hope YouTube don't take this video down or demonetize it. We might be 12 minutes in, so we probably are good now that we're past the 10-minute mark. But if I'm still watching certain things in the background, and it's like, I goon from time to time, I'm not perfect. So it's something that I just do, from time to time. It's like, okay, I'm alone. Oh, okay, it's late at night. I want to go to bed, sleep a little bit more comfortably, I guess, and not have to put up with this urge. I'm like, I don't take it all the way and like release my full self when I'm doing it. I'm just like, I'll tug at it until I feel like, I'm about to burst or whatever, and then I just don't. That's me personally. Another guy might take it all the way. It is what it is. He can do that. I just don't like the energy loss. So for me, the slight energy loss is much more efficient than like the grandiose energy loss. That is where it's like, it's excessive. It's like, I can tug away at myself for a little bit, but I don't have to, because I'm tugging away at myself a little bit, go all the way and just release it everywhere, and now it's all moist and damp. You see what I'm saying? It don't have to get to that point. It's like, I can tug at it, but I don't have to release it. It's like a balance. So I found balance in that, and that I'm comfortable with, because I'm not a perfect human being. So it's like, even though, okay, I have a girl I'm dealing with, yes, I still do these things from time to time, but she's already somewhat aware of that, right? So it's like, okay, he's going to do what he's going to do. It's not like, it's literally virtual. It's not like, he might be even imagining himself being with that woman at the time, but it's just some type of fantasy. It's not reflected in real life, right? And so, of course, with that, it's like, okay, it's whatever. So if I see her posting some other dude on Instagram, or like, perhaps I just take it as a way of like, to motivate me to get to that position, or to a similar position. I can become more attractive. I have that potential to replicate that in my own life, and with her, right, in the future. So I see it as, I can take inspiration from it and use the hatred that I have of that sometimes, that I display, right? I'm becoming more comfortable, I think, over time, but some of the hatred that I have for that, I just use that as inspiration. It doesn't just stay as hatred and being like, F these dudes, like, it's more like, okay, what are these dudes doing that is cool, that's right, and that I could do, to make myself better? What are these dudes doing to make themselves better that I can make myself better? Because then being noticed for being better than the average dude. So it's like, well, I want that too. I have that potential. Let me go and discover it, right? Let me get to the depths of this. So I think I take it as inspiration. I don't take it as disrespect. I try to take it more as inspiration than the disrespect. But I take it in both ways, It's like 30% disrespectful and 70% inspirational. And the way I see it is that I guess these guys deserve respect. They command respect with their greatness. So who am I to judge someone else showing them respect that takes inspiration from them when they're great anyway? They're going to get shown respect. So it's like, what can I sit here and do? Cry? And no, that's really not going to solve anything. It's only going to slow me down, so. And I looked at that, I was like, okay, and plus it's only virtual. It's not like she's going to do anything with them in real life. Like, it's not like she has access to these dudes. It's not anything of that sort, right? And that pattern of thinking that could arise from what I'm seeing. So I realized all these things in myself, and, I understood finally that women are literally just a mirror of the men that they're with, like, sometimes you might look at these relationships and you might be like, damn, how is a quote unquote, like, there may be a point in time where a guy's a virgin, say he's like 19 years old and he's with a girl who's also like 19, but she's got like a body count of 5, right? And this guy has a body count of 0 or 1, right? And he's far less sexually experienced than she is. But it's like, how has he attracted a woman who has far more sexual experience than him? Probably because he has that in his heart. Because maybe he hasn't acted it out yet. Maybe he just hasn't had the chance to act it out. But he's probably still got in a relationship with her and attracted that, because maybe if he gets in a relationship with her and attracts that, he'll be tested with other girls now noticing that he's attracted and one girl, now other girls are like, okay, he's got, he clearly must have something to offer. So maybe he'll get girls thrown at him down the line from the universe to see, okay, are you going to feel insecure that she's got higher body count than you and try and match it by taking up all these offers when these girls are throwing it to you? Or are you just going to remain loyal and be like, maybe understand that you attracted this because you had this in your heart and you're like, you want to get your body count up, you want to have all these experiences, and you're just insecure that you don't, but you could just focus on doing that with her instead of doing that with other girls, right? Over a longer period of time. That would probably serve you more, right? Especially for your mental health. You don't want to deal with all these other personalities and stuff. It's already a lot. You already have to go to work, and you already have to do your business and collaborate with colleagues and customers. Like, do you want all these other concubines along with that? It's it's a frail conquest. So I think that's the conclusion I really came to. I don't want the recent videos have been like pretty red pilled, I'd say. But my original videos when I started were pretty blue pilled, right? And I think I was in a happier place, even though I was doing less with my life, and I was like, damn, my life could be more. But at the same time, I was more appreciative because it was less. I think now my life is more. I'm less appreciative because it's more, and I'm just constantly on to the next thing. And I had to take and God literally, like, I heard the voice of God yesterday, right? Which is why I've brought myself to come on camera today and make this video. And I've been contemplating this for like since yesterday, and even a few days before that. And it was just like, God had, I had a moment of silence, and God had just stopped me from my work. He had called me. I was doing some work. I was maybe like working on a song or something, and finalizing it. And in the midst of doing all that, God had just called me and stopped me and said, like, hey. I was like, I'm like, God, is that you? The universe, like, am I speaking to the creator right now? Am I being called by you? And he's like, yeah, it's me, it's me. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, cause why else, like, why else would I be feeling it? Who else could make me feel this way? Who else could like take my attention within a moment's notice, like so instantaneously, especially when I was really enjoying the process I was doing, right? And God was just like, I need you to listen, all right? because you've been doing a lot and you've been going through a lot, and I understand your hurt, I understand your pain, I understand your joy, I understand your all of this. I understand the whirlwind of you know your emotions, okay? But I need you to listen right now, because you've been going down this rabbit hole that's dangerous. I can see it. For months it's been, it's been building up, and this is going to make you lose everything you've been working for, right? Like, attracting a girl that, is a representation of you. Like, this girl, she got the same body count as you. And I'm not going to tell you what it is on camera, because I'm not an idiot, right? Y'all ain't going to know that much, okay? Y'all think y'all deserve to know everything. Chill out. But anyways, yeah, he's got the same body count as you, wants the same amount of kids as you, wants similar life to you. Like, this girl is like everything. She talked about like buying a house with you, like telling you what the prices are in around a certain area that you want to, and you're like, wow, like, and like this girl, she likes nature, but she also likes the city as well. But she likes to stay in the most part, to stay in the nature and go to the city only to have like some variety when it's necessary, and like this, she's exactly like you. She's literally your rib. And I was like, she's your twin. And I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, but what are you trying to say? And he's like, well, you're doing things that's going to fuck it up. And then when you do that, you're going to look back and be like, oh, I regret it. And be like, and you're not going to have, and you're going to have to work your way towards having that again. It's going to take even longer. And it's like, do you want that? It's like, and it's like, it's already taken you some time, hasn't it? And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. And it's like, look, well, yeah, of course, I understand your frustration, but look, you got to keep going until you got to keep going. And I'm going to give you the clues along the way to help you do that. But you got to keep fucking going. Like, listen to me right now. And I'm like, and there's all this stuff going on in my life, bro. And it's like, bro, I received an eviction notice. And this is something I probably got to talk about in another video. So I might not even be here within like the next month making videos in this specific style and format. And we might not be able to continue to be as consistent and go on and the generational run we've had on this channel, just in terms of growth and expression, freedom of expression, and evolution of thought. We may not be able to have this keep on going, because by the 12th of March, I think I got to be out this place. But I'm going to go more into that in a separate video, but if y'all can help out my situation, if y'all see this video, donate, help me. I got a donate link in the channel. It's the tinyurl.com/moneymaxme. It's in my channel description, right? And it's a PayPal link. It'll take you to PayPal. And I just got like, whatever you want. If you want to donate a penny, up to donating £1 or £100 or 1,000, I don't mind or matter about what the specific amount is. But any support for this channel is obviously appreciated. And again, just a little ad break to promote that to you, But aside from that, and getting back on topic, it's like, this girl is like, she's everything I worked towards and prayed for. And it's like, do you want to lose this? It's like, you worked so hard, and it's like, she's so into you. And it's like, there's so much more of her that she's yet to show you. And she's going to show you this over time. But you need to like, fucking like lock in, dude. Because you were on this path where you were, going to destroy yourself and like, and it's like, and her as a result of that. And it's like, you don't want that. And it's like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to use my influence in that way. That's like disgusting. It's horrible. I don't want to do that. And he's like, okay, all right. So, well then, you need to understand that your actions are going to reflect, and her actions, her actions are going to be a reflection of your actions, essentially, right? If she's your rib, if you do something to hurt her, right, it's going to hurt you. Whatever you do to hurt her is going to hurt you, but she's going to feel it 10 times more than you feel it, right? And so she's going to punish you for that, for having to feel all of that, right? So it's like, if I'm going through pain and then I make my girl process the pain I'm processing, she won't be able to process that, without extreme detriment to her own life. And I'm like, and I'm not facing the same detriment. And it's like, because of that, I'm going to have to get punished now, and it's like, because of that, that's going to send her into a spiral of doing certain things, being a certain way. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't fucking want that, and Well, it's like, you got to stop being toxic. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, you're right. I can't have hatred towards her if I don't have hatred towards me. Because it's like, you know, if she's making me feel insecure, it's like, what have I got to feel insecure about? Me not being enough? So, so it's this is like doing this psychoanalysis that I'm doing. It's a lot of normal people are going to look at this as crazy, but this is what it takes to be great. This is what it takes to actually have something that is going to be worth it, over a longer period of time. This is why a lot of relationships won't work nowadays. Like our parents, relationships for the most part went well, but our relationships nowadays, a lot of these 20-year-olds, and I'm a 20-year-old, a lot of these 20-year-olds out here today, they're like, bro, they're doomed. Like, bro, most relationships are doomed. I feel like my relationship is one of the few relationships where it's not doomed, because I'm not doom scrolling on the internet. I'm actually scrolling for specific things that's going to help my life. And I used to doom scroll, so I know what the transition is, going from having that detrimental cycle in my life to having this developmental cycle. And I'm glad I matured out of that, but most people, they don't. And they don't really have the time to, the space to, so they don't allow it for themselves. And hey, my relationship is good, I think, because I think like this, because I'm willing to consider and acknowledge and accept perspectives that might not even fit the ideologies that I might have adopted, right, for an extended period of time, that I now have to somewhat to let go. Not completely let go, because there's value in it, but to somewhat let go, to allow what? Value from another perspective to also be in the frame at the same time. And this is how you become a versatile human being, knowing that there's dark and light, and accepting the dark for the dark and the light for the light, and knowing that God exists within all of this. People be like, oh, God can't exist if we have bad shit in our world. Yeah, he can. He allows it, dummy, That's what it is, right? Because there's not only bad shit, there's good shit, right? But if you look for the bad shit, everything is going to be fucking bad. If you look for the good shit, everything's going to be good. But it's not possible to always look for the good, because there are going to be things that seems extremely heavy at first glance and are just going to throw you off. But it's about how quick can you come back from a fall, right? The fall off is inevitable, like J. Cole literally said, and it's a classic song, right? It's like, you should go listen to that. But the fall off is literally inevitable. But it's all about like, it's all about like coming back, bro. Bouncing back quickly, right? Especially from the negativity, especially from moments of like despair and distraught, like being able to bounce back from this, right? And then when you're having moments of fun and you're happy and, revel in that. That's what you're supposed to revel in, right? You want to keep that going as long as possible, because you know that it's not, eventually something is going to throw that off as a test to see, if you can bounce back, and were you really appreciative of those times that you had. I think this is the way our universe works. And I'm starting to crack the code as more times goes on. Painful realization, but honestly, liberating as well, So I can only hope that this had the same effect on all of you that are watching this. And this is my truth, man, As a guy, watch what you do, because sometimes this society likes to downplay men's influence, and it's like, bro, we have a lot of influence, bro. Like, you don't understand that everything your girl is doing is because of you and what you're doing. If you have it in your heart, in your mind, you want to go have sex with that other girl, she's going to have it in her mind that she wants to do it with another guy too, And if you don't follow through with it, it'll just stay in your mind. But eventually, it's dangerous, because the longer it stays in your mind, guess what? You'll feel a sense of entitlement to have to follow through with that. And then she will too. And then it's ruined, right? So the innocence is gone, right? And the commitment that was once there is no longer there, because now someone else is involved, and you see what I'm saying? So you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. You don't, want to end up in this position, and this is what this video is for. You know, kind of a revert back to my old nature, my older era, and I'm starting to receive more value from how I used to be, while still, you know, also having this new version of what I am now as well. And it's like trying to combine these personas I have to make the best person that I can be. And I want this for you.